Hey guys, welcome back. Long time no see. Thank you for all the love on yesterday's video. Again, not the best quality, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really fun to step away from this backdrop, which we're back to for today and for the rest of the week while I create these makeup looks. Today is day one of my attempt to create a different makeup look every day this week using, or at least until Friday, using all drugstore products. This is what I came up with. I feel like I've been seeing this sunset eye trend going around. A lot of you guys have also sent me some inspiration with this type of eyeshadow look. So this is what I came up with for look number one. If you're interested, just keep on watching. Jumping right into it, I'm going to use this NEUTRAGENA Hydro Boost Gel Cream Moisturizer. It's oil-free, fragrance-free, dye-free, and non-comedogenic, which I feel like is kind of hard to find sometimes at the drugstore, and I was pleasantly surprised with this moisturizer. It felt really nice and it worked really well underneath my makeup. I'm also going to apply my eyeshadow primer now, which sounds a little weird, but if you like using your foundation or concealer as an eyeshadow base, it helps to further prevent it from creasing, which I'm going to be using my foundation as my base today. I'm using the MILANI Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. I picked up shades 3 and 1. I'm going to be mixing them together along with my L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer to sheer it out a bit since it is a full coverage foundation. And I will say, shade number 3 made me look a little gray and dull because it was too neutral, so I might exchange it for a different color that's more yellow or orange in tone. Aside from that, this foundation was so beautiful. I was actually pretty shocked because I don't tend to go for full coverage foundations because they make me look really dry. They usually go on patchy and cakey. My skin just doesn't like them, but this one looked and felt really nice. And I almost felt as if it looked better the longer I wore it, which was pretty interesting. So I'm giving it 2 thumbs up for now. And because this is a full coverage foundation plus concealer, I'm just using the lighter shade to conceal and highlight down the center of my face. I'm using one of the 5 or 6 powders that I bought the other day to set everything in place, and I found this powder to be really comparable to the Laura Mercier Translucent. It's really good, and I think it was around $12. I picked it up at Target, and I just picked up any excess creasing first with my sponge. That one is from Ofra, and then I'm using a small eyeshadow brush to just pack the powder into the areas that crease up throughout the day. And then I'm going to use a really large fluffy brush to dust the powder across the entire face. This next product was highly recommended by you guys. It's the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and I'm just applying it to the general areas. It's a really nice bronzer. You guys were not messing around when you told me to pick it up. It is the perfect shade of bronze for an olive skin tone, a light olive skin tone, and it blended out really nicely. The only thing I will say is I wish it didn't have such a strong fragrance. Even though it does smell good, I just wish it wasn't there. But aside from that, I think it's a really beautiful bronzer, so I just use that to really save how dull and gray the foundation made my skin. So I applied it all over, down the neck, and also the sides of the nose. Before going in with eyeshadow, I'm just going to fill in my brows with the Brow Stylist Definer by L'Oreal. This is the darkest shade, and normally I don't fill in my brows till after eyeshadow, but for some reason I just felt like doing it right now. And the birds outside are going nuts. I'm trying to avoid them, but it's pretty much impossible, and I'm just going to continue on with this voiceover to get this video done. For today's eyeshadow look, I'm using one of the NYX Full Throttle eyeshadow quads. This one's my favorite. It's called Color Riot. And I'm going to start with this warm brown up top. And I want it to go on really muted and soft so it works as a transition shade. Plus, I've already set the lids with powder, so it's going to go on a lot lighter than what it normally would. But really, I just didn't want to have to pull from different eyeshadow palettes and single eyeshadows. I wanted to stick primarily to this one eyeshadow quad, which is why I diluted the color to use it as a transition shade versus grabbing another eyeshadow. So I'm also going to apply that color to the lower lash line, buff it out, and then I'm going to start building on this eyeshadow look. So the next color I'm going to go in with is this really deep shade of maroon on the bottom right. And I'm going to slowly build the color because I've already done my base. I don't want to get a lot of fallout, so I'm patting the color in first on the outer V and then slowly blending it into the crease and also the lower lash line. Okay, so now we're really going to intensify the color by mixing the two shadows together, picking up more of the warm brown shade to bring more of that sunset look to the eyes because before it was looking more like a raspberry color. So I'm just deepening up the color, adding more blending and repeating until I get the desired color that I want. This next step I would actually skip. I don't recommend it. I went in with the L'Oreal Infallible Paints Cream Eyeshadow to try and create sort of like a semi-cut crease and intensify the color, but because I had already set my lids with powder, the cream eyeshadow sort of just clumped up and created textures. So pick one or the other. Either use this cream eyeshadow as your base or do what I did previously and set the entire lid with powder. Don't try both because it gets really messy really quick, but I was able to save it by using the lighter eyeshadow from that eyeshadow quad and pressing it on top of the cream to smooth out the texture. And I had one more trick up my sleeve aside from patting in or adding more eyeshadow. I also went in with a glitter, which wasn't Drugstore, it's by Makeup Geek. It's one of their sparklers, and this sort of disguised the texture that I had created on the lid, and I just picked it up with my finger, sprayed it with some setting mist, and then packed it onto the lid, and boom, the texture was gone. You couldn't even tell. I didn't want to use it because I know it's not Drugstore. I tried looking for the NYX glitters or pigments and couldn't find one that matched this look, so desperate times, guys, desperate times. Forgive me. And also, once I applied the glitter, I just went in with a blending brush and blended around the edges to soften the look of the eyeshadow. I obviously had some glitter fallout from this step, so as I was picking up or dusting away the glitter, I decided I wanted to contour the sides of my nose. So that's what I'm doing now, using that same butter bronzer. And I wasn't planning on adding a winged liner, but I thought, what the heck, why not? So I went in with the Maybelline EYESTUDIO gel liner. I haven't used a gel liner and a brush in so long. I've gotten so used to liquid eyeliners that come in the pen form or the felt tip or the brush. So this was a little hard for me. I was a little rusty. So if you guys have any recommendations for a great drugstore liquid pen liner, let a girl know in the comment section. And then I'm going back in with my Photo Focus Setting Spray by Wet n Wild to set everything in place, and also to further intensify this highlight by Milani, because powder highlighters to me just go on more intense when the skin is a little moist. So I waited till it was almost dry and then went in with the highlighter. Also used this on the inner corners of the eyes, brow bone, and everywhere else. I knew I was going to be using a coral or peach toned lipstick, so I wanted a blush that was similar in tone so that it would tie the lips and the eyes together. So I went with this really light coral peachy blush from the L'Oreal Infallible Paints blush palette. It actually came out really beautiful and subtle, not too much. And then of course, gotta fill in my brows using the Maybelline Brow Drama Clear Brow Gel. And also had to pop on some falsies. These are the Ardell Wispies. They are definitely a staple, a go-to lash. They look good on everyone. And my trick with these is that I apply them before mascara and then actually apply mascara to the strip lashes. So it does suck because you can't use the lashes again unless you carefully remove them or know how to wash them. I tend to just throw them away after one use. So maybe save them for a special event, but they do look really natural and subtle, yet add a little bit of drama to the eyes, but they're also super lightweight and I can never tell that I even have them on. But anyway, I'm using my favorite drugstore mascara. This is Big Shot by Maybelline. I'm also going to be using it on the lower lashes, and just to make sure it stays put and doesn't transfer underneath my eyes because I do have really long lower lashes, I take a spoolie to lift the lashes so that way they're not touching, and then I'm going to use that same translucent powder I used to set my face and just run it along the tips of the actual lashes to further set the mascara in place and also prevent it from transferring onto my skin. And prepare to get a good laugh out of this lipstick because this is what I ideally wanted to wear, but my skin, it just doesn't go with my skin. No, this looks terrible. If you're more towards the fair side, it would look amazing. So I instead opted for this Intense Butter Gloss by NYX. I will list all the colors down below, even the one that I didn't like because I don't know them off the top of my head, but this paired really nicely with the rest of the look. Alright, that completes the look. We encountered some problems along the way, but I'm glad I was able to save this look when I thought I wasn't going to be able to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I will see you mañana. Bye, guys.